All right. So, listen, I came across this pamphlet from the Alzheimer's Association over the weekend. Like I told you, I was at the car dealership. We can get into that another time. But over the weekend, I came across this pamphlet. It said 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. And immediately, and by the way, I'm going to butcher the word Alzheimer's probably 10 times. I'll do the best that I can to keep it consistent, but it's just one of those words, all right? So this 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's, I took a look at it and almost immediately, almost involuntarily, I thought of Joe Biden. I just couldn't help myself. I said to myself, how hard could it be to find a correlation between this pamphlet and the President of the United States? So I decided to spend a few minutes of my time skimming through the pamphlet. I thought that at the very least I'd learn some warning signs to be paranoid about at 3 a.m. when I'm thinking about stuff and can't sleep. As my skimming turned into reading and my interest turned into intrigue, I realized something. I realized that I literally could write an entire 10-page segment on the show dedicated to the things Joe Biden has said and done, proving that he's the poster boy for the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's pamphlet. Seriously. Now, I'm no doctor. Not for another couple months at least. But it doesn't take a doctor to see that something just isn't right with Joe Biden. Let's go through some of this pamphlet, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But first, let me say one thing. Yes, I am using a legitimate Alzheimer's Association pamphlet to demonstrate some of the obvious mental deficiencies of the so-called president. I believe that it's absolutely possible, I believe that it's absolutely possible, 100% possible that he's rapidly deteriorating and should be medically evaluated. I'm not taking away from the horror of Alzheimer's, all right? I'm simply emphasizing the obvious truth. Something is terribly wrong in Washington, D.C. So right at the top of the pamphlet, all right, right at the top of the pamphlet, it says that currently 50 million people worldwide live with dementia, all right? That's including more than 5 million Americans. So ask yourself a question. If 5 million Americans have some form of dementia, isn't it possible that Joe Biden does too? Just a question. Right? You can't kick me off the platforms for that, can you? I'm going to read you some of the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's, all right? And again, if you or a loved one is living with someone that has Alzheimer's or you yourself is suffering from some form of dementia, this isn't meant to hurt you. It's not meant to hurt you at all. It's meant to shine a light on the truth, all right? The truth is that something is not mentally right with the most powerful man in the free world. So, the first warning sign of Alzheimer's disease is memory loss that begins to affect your daily life. And who can't think of something that Joe Biden hasn't forgotten? How many times has Joe Biden forgotten people's names? I'm not talking everyday average Joes like you and me. I mean, he forgets the names of his cabinet members, of foreign leaders, and even the characters he talks about in his tired, made-up stories. We don't have to go very far back for his latest spell of memory loss, though I wouldn't doubt it if he's forgotten many things since that I haven't heard about yet. So this is from U.S. Sun. This is back on September 16th, speaking about Joe Biden. It reads, the latest gaffe came during the nuclear submarine announcement, with Britain and the U.S. agreeing to help the Australian Navy amid growing fears of Chinese aggression. The AUKUS Defense Alliance will share nuclear secrets to give Australia its first fleet of vessels. Mr. Johnson said the partnership between natural allies and shared interests and values would be increasingly vital for defending our interests in the Indo-Pacific region. And as Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison gave a short speech about the move when it was Biden's turn, he made a fatal blunder. The U.S. president did not name Mr. Morrison when thanking him and said this instead. I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister. I did the best I can with my Biden impression, but it's terrible either way. You're the president, okay? The president of the United States of America. And you can't remember the Australian Prime Minister's name? That man down under? Come on, man. There's plenty of examples. All right, plenty more. We could literally do multiple hours just on this pamphlet alone. And if you want that, let me know. Let me know. Seriously, shoot me an email at jameslane@americanreveille.com. That's REVEILLE.com. But for now, let's skip to number 6. New problems with words in speaking and writing. All right. This is something that he has definitely experienced. All right. With this one, I probably have hundreds of examples, literally hundreds of sound clips, snippets, and articles demonstrating Joe's inability to use his mouth properly. Let me read you something from an article. All right. In the Des Moines Register. All right. This is from someone that actually knew Joe. Seriously, beyond the slurring, stuttering, whispering, and mispronunciations. People notice that Joe Biden is not the same person he used to be. I mean, just look at him the other day when he couldn't seem to put his arms down for like 12 minutes straight. It was something like that. Let me read you something, all right? Let me read you this. This is from the Des Moines Register. Opinion: Joe Biden isn't the person I knew in Congress. He should get cognitive testing with the result made public. In March 1997, Congress held a bipartisan retreat for families in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in an attempt to heal wounds over bitter congressional fights on welfare reform and balancing the budgets. Pulitzer Prize-winning author David McCullough gave a remarkable speech on respect and decency. Members ate together, danced together, shared stories, and got to know better the members of the other party and their children. My wife and I were joined at our table for lunch during the retreat by Senator Joe Biden and his wife Jill. We had a delightful time getting to know each other. Biden was witty and charming, with no stuttering or incomplete thoughts. Our wives shared professional experiences. We were impressed with them. It pains me greatly to see a decline in President Biden, and it worries me. He was 54 years old then, and he's 78 years old now. People age differently. My own mother, she's 93 and still sharp, but younger friends have mental deterioration that is significant. Why am I concerned about Biden's mental acuity? Well, during the campaign, he said, "I think we can win back the House," when it was already in his party's hands. Super Tuesday became Super Thursday. He forgot the words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women were created by the, the thing. He even misstated what office he was running for in South Carolina. Quote, "My name's Joe Biden. I'm the Democratic candidate for the Senate." He repeatedly got confused about which state he was in. He called his son the Attorney General of the United States and confused British Prime Minister Theresa May with Margaret Thatcher. Joe really has trouble saying words, remembering names, knowing where to go, and now colleagues are calling for his public evaluation. These are all things that we, the Patriots, have been saying for years. These are all things we were called conspiracy theorists for. Well, where's the conspiracy now? Where's the conspiracy? when the president of the United States lives in Never Never Land, likes to sniff people, and disappears before sunset so he doesn't turn into a pumpkin. The truth is that there is no conspiracy. Number 10 in the pamphlet is changes in mood or personality. That is a big one. And Joe Biden, he's lost in space, very confused, and extremely short-tempered. Biden has snapped at veterans, all right? He's snapped at them. He's snapped at factory workers, reporters, and even said he could physically beat up Donald Trump back in 2018. You remember that, don't you? He consistently looks down on us little people and acts like he knows what's best for the working class, when truthfully, Joe Biden hasn't worked a day in his life. When someone pushes back, he throws a tantrum and seems to revert to childlike behaviors, which is highly indicative of some type of dementia. It's sad to watch someone deteriorate in front of your eyes, but it's extremely terrifying when that someone is supposed to be the president of the United States of America. Scary stuff, guys. It really, really is scary stuff. All right, it's time for a short break. We'll be right back.